Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the new Smyrna Speedway, where tonight it is the Sandi Paws Street Stock Series for the North-South Racing League. And we're glad to bring you along here tonight for round number 8 of the Street Stock Series. And once again, like we just said, presented by Sandi Paws Rescue. You can find out more information about our great title sponsor of this season at sandipaws.org. You find out about their great effort, 100% volunteer-based to save our furry friends. Make sure you support them as they support us here at the North-South Racing League. I'd like to also thank Wizards Designs for being our our sponsor of our championship awards. They make great designs. Check them out on Facebook at Wizards Designs. Austin Designs, if you need a new hot rod to get out there looking good, stop over and shout out Scott Austin. He can make your dream a reality. Does your car need to be that install, or you want your performance to be upgraded? Well, Zoofab Garage, that is the place to go. Stop in and see Dustin and the gang at Zoofab Garage to make your cars faster. J&G Hardwood Flooring Installation, Finishing, and Refinishing. Free estimates, you can find them at J&G Hardwood Flooring. And how about Mad Plowing? Winter is coming. Do you need your driveway or parking lot cleared? Call Mad Plowing today to get that all squared away. Well, Kelly, we are here at one of my favorite racetracks, the ever-so-tough New Smyrna Speedway, with 23 of these Sandi Paws Street Stockers signed in for racing action.
Yeah, looking to be a great race here tonight. We're getting into the last few races here of the season, and don't go too far though. After the season is over, we have more racing up in store for the North-South Racing League. We are going to be going right into the ARCA cars, I believe, after this. Am I correct, or am I getting mixed up with the late models?
Late models will be our third season of there,
right.
But we will be going to the ARCA cars. We'll have a couple weeks off for the holidays, and we're really looking forward to that. But we must finish these street stocks as qualifying gets ready to go. Let's take a look at tonight's race information like we alluded to. Race number 8 of 10, just 2 races remaining after tonight. We've got 60 miles of racing. There's been 6 street stock races. The most wins is tied at 1 with 7 drivers. Will we have an 8th different winner here tonight? We will find out in just a little bit of time. Track record is Dante Curtis with a 19.640. Looking at the point standings coming in here, it is a tight one. Just 34 points separating your top 5 and just 10 points separating your top 3 as Scott Austin climbs the second. 7 points out coming into tonight's racing action, Kelly. And I believe Al's fast time qualifying is underway on the racetrack. Who you got your eyes on?
Adam Gable just about to finish his first lap here, and we'll see what he's going to get going as a few drivers take their first laps. Adam Gable is going to go to the top of the board, 19.571, so he is immediately breaking that track record. But we saw in practice a few drivers go a little bit quicker, so let's see if that time will hold.
Yeah, the brand new fast time as they come off the cross here, and Gable, lap number 2, is a little bit slower as he will slot into that number 1 spot. You can see the rookie of Travis Sukup ever so close, Kelly, just 003 off of that pole award so far here tonight. Is now up onto the racetrack comes the number 2 of Dan Janjanin. Janjanin and the number 2 car coming across the line to get his green flag. Here for this first set there is Adam Gable with a brand new track record. Sitting up there atop of the scoring pile. Scott Austin also out onto the racetrack as well. Austin going to go third quick for the 19.584. Janjanin lap number 1 into the books. Good enough for 13th with a 19.788, Kelly. And I believe we're going to see lap number 2 potentially be the quicker of the 2 laps.
That all depends. Gable was faster on his first lap, but yeah, as you said, there's a number of drivers here as I'm looking across the timing and scoring that have gone green on their second lap. Dan Janjanin goes a little bit faster, jumps up one spot with his, but we have a few more drivers out on the racetrack. Rodney Huntoon in that 12 machine, he's out there going for his first qualifying lap.
Yeah, Huntoon out on the racetrack, and the number 12 car working down the backstretch in the turns 3 and 4, and he's working at high side of the racetrack here on lap number 1, Kelly. Maybe a little bit of a throwaway lap for the driver out of Vermont. Huntoon going to slot it with a 19.928. Gable still for now, as we say that. Bryan Hacker in the number 2 car to Huntley, Illinois. Going to take that with a brand new track record, 19.463.
Yeah, we'll see if Huntoon can do any better than that. He crosses the line on his second lap, and we see Dustin Shepard to jump up into 6th, but Huntoon only going to be able to manage 14th. Bryan Hacker finishes his second lap, and he's going to be just a little bit slower. Dylan Connor, 19.471, just off from Bryan Hacker. Let's see if his second lap will be any faster here as he comes through turns 3 and 4. Coming off the final corner now in that last run to the front straight, and it's not going to be faster. He is actually going to lose time on that second lap along with Scott Negus. So I believe it is going to be Bryan Hacker taking home the Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award.
Yeah, Bryan Hacker going to take that Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award, and with that there, 19.463, Kelly. Fast time here tonight as he will be headed to the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw a little bit later on here tonight. Well, not a little bit later. It's coming right up. Our favorite part of the night.
That moment for us to talk to a lot of these drivers, figure out how they're feeling the track tonight, and maybe get a little bit of insight on what to expect throughout this race.
Yeah, and I believe Dylan Connor will be getting that EOL from last week. Did not get an updated list. Unless I'm missing that somewhere, which is possible. Did you get a list, Kelly?
I did not. So Connor took the win last week. He'll be moving to the back, which means I'm just trying to get everyone in line here, get everything sorted for our redraw as we get ready to move on into that.
Alrighty, we'll take and get that squared away. I'm looking to see if we've got the news. And it might have just been him. It was a fairly good race last week, but I don't have that, so maybe someone will get away with something good here, Kelly. But Bryan Hacker setting the Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award, a driver of that number 2 as we head into tonight's weekly draw provided by J&D Farms. He's a legend. It is. I'm not talking about you, Brian. J&D Farms, we thank them for being a ground sponsor. But Bryan Hacker, you setting the Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award in a brand new track record here tonight. How do you think tonight's going to go here? 125 laps, a long ways to go on this racetrack.
Yeah, hopefully it goes well. This is one of my favorite tracks. I always feel pretty good here. Tonight is no different. Anytime you can beat the 90 car in qualifying, you're doing something right. So it feels good to get one of these.
Okay, with all those fast times here tonight, that new track record. Well, we'll get to the picking point right now. 1 through 8 is available. You're the first one up there. What number is going to be your poison here tonight?
Let's go 7.
7. All right. Well, you're going to move back a few rows. Outside row number 3. P number 6 to start here tonight. Outside, good or bad?
I think it's going to depend. I think it's going to depend more on who's around you necessarily than the track. So we'll see how we line up, and we're just going to try to be patient. 125 laps here is a long time.
Well, congratulations on the Fast Time Award tonight. Good luck here in the race. We hopefully talk to you a little bit later this evening.
Thanks, Eldon.
All right, Bryan Hacker going to roll off P number 6. Kelly is up next. You have our next driver. That will be I believe, the number 55, a fellow Canadian.
Yeah, catching up now with Scott Negus. And Scott, judging by the times in qualifying and practice, the track is looking pretty fast, but how is it feeling from the seat of the car?
Doesn't feel too bad. I mean, to me, it's a little bit tight in the middle, but you can't have everything, I guess.
Yeah, the cars are looking surprisingly planted after so many weeks of watching you guys get all sorts of out of place off the corners. So it's with you guys having it be a little tight instead of loose. Is that throwing off a few guys, you think?
No, I think everyone's going to adjust to it fine. It's tight is a hell of a lot better than loose in most cases.
All right, well, let's get to the redraw here. Bryan Hacker took the number 7, so everything other than that is open for grabs. What would you like to take?
I'll take number 5, please.
Taking number 5 off the board. It's going to be on the inside line, and it's going to be row number 2, P3 start for you. How are you feeling about that position?
As long as I can keep the fenders on it. I've been having severe bad luck with people wanting to move me out of the way, so we'll see what happens.
Well, hopefully you can hold your position, hold your ground. Maybe we'll be talking to you a little bit later on tonight, so good luck to you, Scott.
Appreciate it, buddy.
So there's Scott Negus. He'll be starting in 3rd place here tonight, Alan. I believe our next driver up will be Adam Gable.
It will be Adam Gable, and we will pull him up into our room real quick and get Mr. Gable as he's set the 4th fast time here tonight, but makes it into the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw. Mr. Gable, good afternoon.
I'm sorry to inform you, I have the EOL.
He has the EOL, so he will not be. All right. We didn't get a list up here, Adam, so we're flying in the dark on that one. So.
All right, nope, that's fine. It was just me and Dylan.
Just you and Dylan. All right. Well, we apologize, and I wish you the best of luck tonight.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Kelly. So there we have it. So that will move us to Travis Sokup. And here is Travis now up into the top 8 redraw presented by J&D Farms. And Travis, another fast hot rod here tonight at New Smyrna. Really finding some momentum here at the later stages of this season. How's your rookie season been going for you?
Been a good time. Been having a lot of fun.
That's the name of the game here. Well, we have 2 numbers already off the board, the 3rd starting spot and the 6th starting spot. Front row is still available. You can choose any number but 5 and 7, as those numbers have both been called.
I'll take, let's go with 8.
Number 8. Well, remember, it is not us. It is our friends at J&D Farms. That is going to be P number 8, starting on the outside row. Historically, the outside not terrible. How's it feeling out there for you tonight?
Feels pretty good.
All right, well, we wish you the best of luck here, and hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of this one. Best of luck.
All right, thank you.
All right, Travis is going to roll off in P number 8. Kelly is next. We'll move along the list. I believe you've caught up with our friend Scott Austin.
Here now with our next qualifier, Scott Austin. And Scott, here at the New Smyrna Speedway, are you expecting to see multiple lines here, or are we just going to be in a fight for the bottom tonight?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of side-by-side racing tonight. Nature of the track and the lines being different per corner really plays into that.
All right, well, your teammate took a little bit of a fall for you. He took one of those spots towards the back. We still have, though, the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 left on the board, and the whole front row is open. So what would you like here tonight?
We'll take the 3.
Taking the 3 off the board, and you're going to be going a little bit back in the field along with Bryan Hacker. P7 for you tonight, so a little bit of a climb through the field, but we saw you climb the other week as you made a huge charge through the field when you had that EOL after your win, so probably P7 seems a lot easier, doesn't it?
It does. It's no surprise. I don't really qualify well. I think this is one of my only times up here in the booth with you guys before the race, so per usual, we do the same thing we always do and try to be there at the end.
All right, well, maybe you will be there at the end, and we'll be talking to you later on tonight, so good luck to you.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
So Scott Austin drops a little bit further back. He takes P7, and we still have the whole front row left for grabs.
It sure is up for grabs. Our next driver qualified inside the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw, Mr. Josh Cole. And Josh, you've had a good car the last couple weeks. Lady Luck not so much on your side. What's it going to take to turn that luck around here tonight at New Smyrna?
I don't know. It was a good running last week. I don't know, man. Just, I guess, hit my lines and stay consistent the whole race.
It sounds good. This track really tough to do that, very line sensitive. But tonight, we got some good news for you. The worst you can start is P5. The best you can start is the pole. Numbers to choose from are 1, 2, 4, or 6.
Let me go with 6.
6. All right, you're going to start P number 5. Inside row number 3. You like that inside starting spot?
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
All right, Josh. Best of luck here tonight. Hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of this one.
Thank you.
All right, Josh Cole going to roll off P number 5. Kelly, the front row is still available as you talk to the driver of the ZooFab Garage, number 89, Mr. Dustin Shepard.
Catching up now with Dustin Shepard. And Dustin, a few drivers talking how it's going to be some side-by-side racing. What are you expecting tonight?
I hope so. Like I said, but the track's really tight right now, so it's going to be who can save their right front again. So there's going to be those 3 or 4 or 5 guys that can do it better than everybody else if we get a long run. But the racing usually is pretty good here.
All right, well, you've got some good choices here left on the board. Pole, 2nd, and 4th are all available, and your numbers to choose from are 1, 2, and 4 as well.
Let's go 4.
Taking 4 off the board, and that is going to be pole for you, Dustin. You think you can maybe go flag to flag up there?
Not a chance.
All right, well, let's see how long you can hold on and see if you'll fight tooth and nail, and maybe we'll be talking to you at least a little bit later on.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so Dustin Shepard, he'll be rolling off in pole, Al.
Yeah, the pole coming off the board. Next driver up is the 33 of Braden Campbell. And Campbell had a good run going last week. And this week we're headed to New Smyrna, another tricky racetrack here this season. How's New Smyrna fitting your driving style here tonight?
I still have to figure it out a little bit. I think if we can wrap 3 and 4 throughout the whole race, we should be sitting pretty good, though.
All right, well, we got some good news for you. You're going to move up from where you qualified. You're going to either start in P number 2 or P number 4. That's what's left. The numbers to choose from are 1 or 2. You tell me which number you'd like, sir.
Let's go with number 1.
Number 1. All right, outside front row for Mr. Campbell. And, hey, see, getting that fresh air on the front of this car, is that going to be a good thing, you think? Or how's the car feeling out there?
Feels a little tight, but hopefully we can get a good restart here and get the lead.
All right, well, best of luck here tonight, Braden. We hopefully talk to you here at the end of tonight's Atlantic Shootout 125.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Braden Campbell going to roll off in P number 2. Kelly, that means our last driver, Mr. Josh Nelms, and that 00 will be rolling off in P number 4.
Yeah, and I'm going to catch up with him now here with Josh Nelms. Josh, a few drivers talking about how the track is tight. How is it feeling for you?
Yeah, the track's been tight since we got here, and just making do with what we can. Little adjustments with steering ratio and braking points, and looking for a good race.
Well, the good news for you, even though you don't get to choose your own number, they have chosen it for you. It is going to be a 4th place starting spot for you, so the outside of row 2. Do you think that outside lane is going to be all right for that initial start?
I guess we'll be the first ones to find out when they drop the green flag. I'm hoping it is.
All right, well, just a couple more seconds here before we're hitting the grid. We're going to let you go. Good luck to you tonight, and hopefully we'll be talking to you later on.
Thanks, guys.
So Josh Nelms, as mentioned, rolls off in 4th place, and we have got our grid sorted, and we are about to head to the grid, and we'll be going green for the Atlantic Shootout 125 in just a couple minutes.
Yeah, and the redraw is brought to you by J&D Farms, not Now, don't go bothering Googling it. It's not your average sponsor. J&D Farms is a brainchild of a self-proclaimed crazy redneck who just thought iRacing was cool and wanted to see his name on the broadcast. And you know what? We respect that. So whether you pull that lucky number 1 like Dustin Shepard did or that number 8 like Travis Sukup, remember, it's all thanks to J&D Farms, supporting racing, supporting the show, and officially a legend of the North-South Racing League. And that was Ben, your J&D Farms top 8 redraw. Kelly, and just like that, we are now getting ready to go with tonight's main event, which is lining up on the front stretch.
Yeah, getting everyone lined up here in the pit area. And we're going to have to give them a moment to sort out the redraw once we get rolling. But Al, let's take us through the starting grid.
All right, Dustin Shepard going to start on the pole. Virtue of the draw, Braden Campbell roll off bin P number 2. Starting on the inside of row number 2 will be Scott Negus, and outside of him, Josh Nelms in that 00. Josh Cole and Bryan Hacker, your current high points man, will roll off in 5th and 6th, and the man chasing them, Scott Austin, 7th, and Travis Sukup rounding out your top 8. Gary Eschen will roll off in the 11th spot, and Amos Odegaard will roll off 12th.
Jeff Bergener will be rolling off in 13th. 14th, we'll see the number 38 of Ryan Johnson. Randy Nichols will be starting in 15th. 16th sees the 12 of Rodney Huntoon. 17th is going to be the 02 of Dan Jan. Matt Cook will be rolling off in 18th. 19th sees the number 1 of Travis Heffler. Chad McLeod in that 93 car, he'll be starting in 20th. 21st will be Brian Schroyer. And then I believe Lewis Flowers, he has made the grid. He'll be starting in 22nd. And then we have a couple drivers getting dropped to the back of the field.
Yeah, Robbie, last week's winner, the number 90 of Dylan Connor and Adam Gable rolling off in the back there as they're having an incident limit last week. And that'll be your starting lineup. Field rolls down in the turns 3 and 4. Here into our zone. Here's the field getting ready to go. Green flag racing. October 27th, the Sandi Paws Street Stocks Atlantic Shootout is green.
Dustin Shepard leads the field down into turn 1. He has got the 33 Braden Campbell on his outside, but as soon as he gets through 1 and 2, he is completely free and clear in the lead. But you see that 33 car surging back forward, trying to see if he can get himself alongside. He cannot quite. He's still battling with Scott Negus. Negus side by side there as he is pressured from behind, both from the 00 car, or sorry, that is the 01 of Josh Nelms and the 2 of Bryan Hacker.
Yeah, Bryan Hacker back there working the racetrack as they come off the corner, and it's still Shepard out front. Campbell to the outside of Negus now, trying to make his way back towards or get his way up towards the front. Josh Nelms on the outside, Bryan Hacker, Travis Sukup. Scott Austin back in that 7th spot. He's under fire and already a little bit of damage to the 5 Kelly. And the 23 of Gary Eschen. And I believe, if memory serves me correct, those two had a little bit of contact last week at the Hickory Motor Speedway.
Yeah, we can only kind of make a guess of what to happen there, but when you have damage on the front of one car and on the rear of another, you can kind of make a good educated guess on exactly what happened. But now we see Eschen does get in front of Scott Austin, and Austin having to defend there as the 38 of Johnson nearly got his nose to the inside, but drivers are now getting it all sorted out, and we see Eschen starting to put some pressure on Travis Sukup, gets his nose to the outside, cannot quite get there though. Braden Campbell, he's dropped back a number of spots here as he has been struggling on that outside line. He has gone all the way back to 5th after starting in 2nd. Dustin Shepard, he's still holding on to a fairly decent lead, about 0.6 of a second over Scott Negus.
That he is, and he's holding it over right there as you watch the battle between Gary Eschen and the 45 of Travis Sukup as they work through turns 1 and 2. Scott Austin under attack now by Ryan Johnson in that 38 car. Johnson and the 21 of Jeff Bergner rounding out your top 10. Right now already to 6 laps completed, working lap number 7.
So I took a quick look back to see what had happened between Eschen and Austin. It actually happened right on the initial green flag. Josh Cole looked to be dropping to the back of the field where it had something going on with his car. He was slow on the inside, and that caused Austin to check up, and I don't believe Eschen was able to react in time. There was no way he could have expected a slow car in front of the car in front of him, and those two just got together, but it looks to be not affecting those two drivers at all, and we've seen Eschen actually gain a few spots from ever since we noticed the damage. So now Eschen is about to move up another position there as he gets his nose ahead of Braden Campbell, who has been struggling here tonight.
Yeah, Campbell's on the outside. Said he was, remember, struggling 3 and 4 to wrap the bottom, and you can lose a lot of time. And this racetrack, a little tricky to get there. Off of turn number 4, the track really kind of narrows down the straightaway. The backstretch is pretty symmetrical. They kind of have a sweeper off of turn number 4, but then that straightaway wall bows inward all the way down in the turn number 1. So kind of a unique front straightaway in the turn number 1 there is now Scott Austin under fire from the number 38 of Campbell and Scott and the 21 of Bergner. As the field works there, you see your drivers moving up through the field. Up 6 spots, Ryan Johnson is. As he works there behind Sukup and Campbell, who are side by side, door handle to door handle, down the back stretch. Good battles right here as they work through turns 3 and 4. Shepard still your race leader, but that gap starting to shrink underneath the half second now as Bryan Hacker sets chase.
Yeah, Hacker was nearly a full 1/10 of a second faster on that last lap, so he is closing in on the 89 of Dustin Shepard. And the other thing you have to wonder, though, is how much are these drivers working their right front tires? We heard a few drivers during our redraw at the beginning of the night mention that it is a very tight racetrack, at least to start here, and it's going to be all about saving that right front tire. So we're going to see who's going to be able to do that best. Meanwhile, still there is a huge battle for sixth place here as Braden Campbell and Travis Sukup remain side by side, and right behind them, it is pretty much a log jam of drivers with Ryan Johnson, Scott Austin, Jeff Bergner, and now Randy Nichols and Dylan Connor getting involved. Connor coming all the way up from the back of the field. He's gained about 10 spots already.
Yeah, with very big movers right there, as you can see where you can on there. Johnson up 6 spots trying to get around Campbell. Connor has gone, remember, had the call, let's go to the back of the field, and he's right there. Randy Nichols starting to make his presence known as this kind of, would you call it a log jam as they work around this racetrack? That's what I would call it.
We got a battle for the race lead, though, shaping up. Hacker has caught up to Shepard and took a peek on the inside there going into turn 1. So Bryan Hacker has got some pace here tonight, but we have to wonder, has he been using those tires up, or was it Shepard that used his right front up as he tried to run away from the field right off the drop of the green flag? But now coming into lap 19, the fight is on for the race lead, and we're looking at possibly our first lead change of the night. Coming off turn 2, Hacker looked like he had a good head of steam, but it looks like he may have had to lift there as he couldn't quite find the gap. He wanted now coming off 4. He is going to make the move to the inside. He's going to nose just to the quarter panel, but not quite there, as he then has to slot back in behind Dustin Shepard. Now coming off of 2, nearly gets into him again.
Hacker trying to find a way to go, and as these two battle it out, is bringing Negus and Nelms into this battle. As Hacker a little bit better that time off the corner, but Shepard doing a good job up at the front of this one. Started on the point and has led the first 20 laps as they work lap 21 down the back stretch. And look at Nelms taking a peek for that 3rd spot as this battle. We keep our eyes on your race lead. Nelms is going to work past Negus. That will move him into the 3rd spot for the 0-0.
Yeah, Nels gets around Negus. Negus has been dropping back just a little bit, but he still seems to have a good bit of pace here, and there is a large gap between him. Oh, caution is out for the first time here tonight. We're going to have to take a look. It looks to be Josh Cole. Heavy damage for the 09 car. And that car may be done here tonight. He's somehow able to get rolling, but there is no front end left on that machine.
And Josh Cole under a lot of power. Look at like the right front might be broken on the Dave Roy's Landscaping number 09. Let's take a look and see what happened to Cole, shall we? Coming down the front stretch has the one car of Travis Hoffler behind him. Down into the corner, Hoffler down low, and something breaking, Kelly, or maybe some net code. Lewis Flowers hard contact as well. Let's see if we can get a view from our blimp camera. I believe there might have been some net code there, which is not what you want to hear. Part of this racing is the one of Hoffler to the inside. And something breaking or something gone away. The wheels just go hard right on that 09.
Yeah, there was some heavy damage. I don't know if there was maybe a hardware failure where maybe his wheel disconnected, because I know it'll just go full lock to one side when that happens, but he was sent right into that wall as, a couple drivers coming off pit road getting into each other, and I don't know if they beat the pace car out. They are going to go around, but we'll see what the call is later. We had a number of drivers come down pit road, including Bryan Hacker, I believe, came down. So, yeah, it is only your top 5 that have stayed out on the racetrack. Everyone else came down the pit.
Yeah, right now as they head down the front stretch, I believe we will get our Mad Plowing Choose Cone, as Mad Plowing is our proud sponsor of the Choose Cone and Caution Flag sponsor. And Mad Plowing is your go-to landscaping company in Oregon, Wisconsin, specializing in snow removal during those winter months that are coming and mowing services all summer long. Whether it's clearing your driveway or keeping your lawn pristine, they've got you covered. Call them today at 608-217-3528 for all your landscaping and snow removal needs. Well,
Dustin Shepard still going to be holding on to the race lead, and he'll be starting on the inside, and he's going to have Nelms on his right. And look at Dylan Connor already up to 4th place after starting all the way in the back.
Yeah, he is one of 5 cars not to come down pit road this last time. It looks like the 09 of Josh Cole unfortunately has pulled the 09 behind the wall, Kelly. Lewis Flowers working on that 40 car down there as well as the field rolls into the Sandi Paws restart zone. Green flag is out, and we are back underway.
And Shepard, you're going to get completely clear of Nelms going into turn 1, and this is pretty much a recreation of the initial start of this race as that second place driver drops back, and look at the 90 of Connor going all the way down to the bottom. Bergner closing that door, and that is going to cause a huge stack up in the field. We see a lot of drivers having to check up there as Bergner is defending hard over Dylan Connor, and now Travis Sukup getting involved as well.
Yeah, they are really leaning on each other. They always say 8 tires turn better than 4. And right there, the Connor and the 90 car trying to use Sukup as it. Bergner slips up. Here comes Connor to the inside. Sukup hooks him in the right rear. Connor goes around. Dylan Connor wrecks on the front stretch. Somehow we stay green. Now the Mad Plowing yellow flag will fly for the second time here tonight as Dylan Connor and the 40 of Sukup, 45 of Sukup got tangled off the corner, and that hooked the 21 of Bergner as well. And we are slowed for the second time here tonight in the Atlantic Shootout 125.
Yeah, that is heavy damage for both of those drivers and that were involved in that. Sukup able to get away with that clean, but looks like Bergner had some heavy damage to his left front, and Dylan Connor pretty much has the front ripped off entirely. So some unfortunate contact for those two cars who were running a great race. Connor had made a huge charge up towards the front of the field from the back, but will not be able to convert that into a good points finish tonight. He will have to try to just salvage whatever he can from this race as he comes down pit road along with a few other drivers, including Chad McLeod.
Yeah, a tough hit there for Bergner. The 90 coming down pit road right now, as you alluded to, Kelly, as our yellow flag comes out. Braden Campbell on pit road coming off. So some hard hits there. Is Dan Janjanin going to get back on the lead lap in that number 2 car?
And I believe we're going to be coming to the Mad Plowing Choose Cone this next time around, so we'll see if this will shake things up at all. I think we've been seeing a lot of drivers just kind of going in, out, as the both two lines aren't really having a real distinct pace difference. It's really coming down to whatever the drivers prefer.
That they are, as the field will roll down here as the Mad Plowing Choose Cone comes back out into the racetrack. Just like you alluded to, Kelly. Oh, Ryan Johnson going to go to the inside. Everybody kind of, would you call it the traditionally picking their spots?
Yeah, kind of just taking the in-out like you normally would, but there's a few drivers that just they can't find the pace on the inside or the outside, and they are swapping up. Looks like, as you mentioned, Ryan Johnson chose the bottom, so maybe he's feeling like he's not got the pace on the high side, or maybe he can save the tires just a little bit better on the inside. At this point now, everyone except for the lead 2 have pit, so it's just Dustin Shepard and Josh Nelms that are still on the same set of tires that they started this race on.
That is, they are interesting here as they continue to stay out, Kelly. Now, they will have fresher tires if they do, when they choose to pit here tonight. I'm not sure if these yellow flags will make it easier to make it the full distance. Not sure if the fuel numbers were that close. Every time we walked by the crew chiefs a little bit earlier this afternoon, well, they would not give us that as the green flag comes back out through the Sandi Paws restart zone. And we are back underway.
Shepard getting completely clear of Nelms before turn 1. Once again, he was able to actually go up to the high side and able to take the full advantage of the full width of the track. As now we see Bryan Hacker getting his nose to the inside of Josh Nelms. He's moving himself up into second. He's going to barely have a nose ahead there at the line. Pretty much side by side as Nelms squeezes him down to the bottom in turn 1. And now you see Scott Negus and Gary Eschen as well trying to advance their positions. They're right on top of the front 2.
And they are working it 2 by 2. Randy Nichols trying to figure out which lane to go with, as he's got Ryan Johnson right there behind him. Everyone trying to keep their noses clean as they come off of turn number 2. Oh, Matt Cook hard into the outside wall at the back, in the middle of the field, running in that 12th spot. We'll see if that hurts any of his progress towards the front. But the outside lane starting to prevail as Gary Eschen stuck to the inside now. Now Autoland number 23, and he'll climb up. Contact between himself and Nelms down the backstretch.
And now Bryan Hacker getting his nose to the inside of Dustin Shepard. He's trying to push himself up in the lead. He had a chance earlier, but didn't have the time to get there before the caution came out. He's right behind them. Drivers are battling like mad for position. Drivers all over the place, squeezing each other from the top to the bottom as coming off the corner. It is side by side for the race lead. Hacker getting a nose ahead there down in turn 3, coming off of 4 now. He's going to have a better exit, and that is going to be their first lead change of the night. Bryan Hacker takes over the race lead for the time being, but Dustin Shepard has not given up just yet. He's getting a good run on the high side there off of turn 2.
He is, and then Gary Eschen has now cleared himself into the 3rd spot, and he is quickly coming into this battle. Bryan Hacker is clear off the corner and put it in as a lead change. Bryan Hacker, our first car to lead besides Dustin Shepard tonight, and he's got a slew of fast drivers behind him working down the backstretch. Randy Nichols into the 4th spot, the driver out of Texas, chasing Gary Eschen, who's gone to victory lane this season. Last week at Hickory, did not go his way, looking for a nice rebound here tonight at New Smyrna. It's your top 4 cars, single file out, and then you go back to the battle between Josh Nelms and Scott Negus in that 55, the blue oval Racing entry working underneath the 00. Now is under attack from the 38 of Ryan Johnson. Johnson rolls off of turn number 4 on that high side with the momentum. Going to get there in the turn number 1. Kelly, I'm pretty surprised at how the outside is able to hold a little bit, but right now it seems like the preferred race line is that bottom.
Yeah, it's working out for Gary Eschen, who gets himself ahead of Dustin Shepard with a little bit of help from Randy Nichols, who gave him a push down the back straightaway that last time by. And now Nichols trying to move himself up into third as Shepard is just trying to hold on, trying to see if he can maintain position until maybe the next caution where he can finally swap those tires, and then he would have a bit of a tire advantage unless the rest of the field were to come with him. And now trying to cross it up off of turn 4, not going to have the pace, so Randy Nichols is going to take over third place. And now Eschen and Nichols have got to try to chase down Hacker.
And that they will. They'll try to chase them. Bryan Hacker, the fastest car on the racetrack, 1 lap ago, enjoys a 0.7 of a second lead over Eschen. Everybody's single filing out back here a little bit deeper in the field. The number 12 of Rodney Huntoon. He's working the high side around the 33 of Braden Campbell. Campbell digging down low, trying to make his way back towards the front of the field. 47 laps are going to be complete this time off turn number 4. Bryan Hacker, your race leader.
Yeah, Hacker still leading comfortably, but Eschen is a fast driver. He does have the potential to chase him down, but on that last lap, it was Hacker a little bit faster than the rest of the field. Scott Negus, though, and Adam Gable both putting down some fairly quick laps, but Gable right now is stuck in a battle with Ryan Johnson now for 7th place, and Johnson, with a little bit of better speed on the high side, will get his nose ahead.
We go on board with the Sandi Paws Rescue onboard camera, and it is the 38 of Johnson working the outside. Hoffler and Scott Austin banging doors a little bit. We've seen a lot of contact here tonight, Kelly. No surprises. This one has always been one of those ones where you see a little bit of contact.
And that is also just the nature of short track racing. There's not a lot of space here on this track, and as you mentioned, it gets narrower because you come down the front straightaway, and we'll see a lot of contact throughout the night as the 55 of Negus gets into Nelms, and Nelms sideways. They'll save it, but Negus going to have to take a trip through the grass, mow the lawn a little bit, but he is going to keep his car clean. Just a little bit of extra dirt on the front, but a number of spots lost there as he's going to go from 6th all the way down to 10th, nearly into 11th, as he is now having to fight against Amos Odegaard.
Yeah, Odegaard working the outside of the racetrack now as the Joe's Racing Products number 60 trying to get that momentum. It's going to take a few laps for those tires to get clean on Negus's 55. Josh Nelms fell back to the 7th spot after that exchange there momentarily. And right now everyone trying to move it around this racetrack and keeping it clean. How about the 90 car, Kelly? Down 1 lap, but starting to work his way up through the field. He works the outside of the 21 of Bergner, and that car has seen better days, but it still has some good pace.
Yeah, we're seeing also Dustin Shepard dropping back another spot as Ryan Johnson gets by him, as Shepard has been struggling on those older tires. He's been losing ground, and however, he's not really been dropped all the way through the field. He's been able to hang on fairly well, and that's not too surprising as it was only 23 laps when the rest of the field came down. I was actually mainly surprised how early everyone hit. Normally we get a quick caution like that, and everyone just keeps out on the racetrack until at least about the halfway point.
It makes me wonder if they were really close on fuel to begin with, and then if you go in, top that off after a few laps there and get those tires, maybe that was their play call as we close in towards the halfway point of tonight's Atlantic Shootout. 125 for the Sandi Paws Rescue Street Stock Series for the North-South Racing League. Just 2 cars officially out of the race here tonight. Josh Cole and Robbie Clavey. Clavey was unable to get the 73 fired up. Must be because it was a Chevy, Kelly.
Well, we are seeing another bit of a battle forming here for 5th place as Shepard is having to defend against Adam Gable. Gable putting on some good pressure, but just behind him, he's got Josh Nelms. Nelms able to work those older tires still fairly well, and he's recovered from that little incident with Scott Negus and was able to cool his tires off. So he is now getting himself back into that battle to try to regain a top 5 position as Shepard went a little bit high there in turn 2, and that nearly opened the door for Gable.
It did there as they work through this corner. Nelm starting to rebound a little bit as he's got the 5 of Austin running in that 8th spot as Bryan Hacker continues to lead. Came into tonight with just a 7-point lead over the 5 of Scott Austin. Right now that point lead looking to grow as they work down here. Ryan Johnson also inside the top 3, just 10 points back from Bryan Hacker. So a lot of point implications. Johnson runs in that 4th spot, as I believe that would leapfrog him into that number 2 spot overall in the points with just 2 races remaining after tonight. As now Gable with a run to the inside. Can he make it stick in the turn number 1? Gable rolls the inside, paints the yellow line. The 89's tires gotta be screaming at him, Kelly. So he worked down the backstretch and he'll give up the spot and allow Josh Nelms to get by as well.
Yeah, I think Shepard may have overcooked that right front. He is struggling there on the high side, especially. He looked really tight off of 2 that last time, so maybe he needs to try to stay to the bottom as much as he can because he seems to be able to roll that bottom side fairly well still with those tires, but now he's got the 5 of Scott Austin right behind him.
Yeah, Austin looking to make his way around the 89. They're a little bit deeper in the back. Scott Negus and Braden Campbell still raging war. That is the first battle on the racetrack that's side by side currently. As Negus works the outside of the Hammer number 35 entry of Campbell. They've got the 21 of Bergner. Remember, he was in trouble a little bit earlier as well. He is down 2 laps right now. As Dylan Connor is in that free pass zone if we were to get a mad plowing yellow flag. Right now, Bryan Hacker, a 1-second lead as we watch this battle for the 12th spot.
Yeah, Braden Campbell and Scott Negus battling it out side by side into turn 1 there. And Negus trying to work that outside, trying to make it work. He's got a good amount of momentum on the high side coming down the back straightaway, and we've been seeing that a lot, especially in turn 2, is those drivers have just been shooting out of it and getting a good run in the back straightaway. But then 3 and 4, it seems to kind of favor the inside a little bit more.
It does. 3 and 4, I think that's the key to get around New Smyrna. You got to be really good, hit that line on the outside, but then cut it down low and wrap that bottom in 3 and 4. And it is easier said than done. But it looks like that's the way to be fast right now, as Negus maybe has the preferred lane on the outside. And as this run gets longer, that bottom side is just going to continue to get heat up, and you're going to start seeing these drivers migrating, looking for a grip, especially as these tires continue to wear out.
And now we got Scott Austin making a move. Oh, caution's going to come back out here. And it looks like it may have been the 93.
It looked like the 36 involved and the 40 of Lewis Flowers, according to timing and scoring here, Kelly. But the 93 might have been involved as well. Let's take a look back here and see what we can find. Chad McLeod and Lewis Flowers, they did bang doors there. The 93 of McLeod up the racetrack. And then the 36 of Troy are nowhere to go as Flowers sits sideways. Let's watch it again, a little better of an angle. As everyone is starting to come down pit road. Let's come to live photos and see this battle on pit road. Everybody down pit road once again, Kelly.
Yeah, I think it is every car on timing and scoring down pit road, except for the couple drivers that are laps down, trying to see if they can get a lap or 2 back here. And we'll see who's going to be the first driver off of pit road. Looks to be Gary Eschen. Eschen is actually going to pull out ahead of Bryan Hacker. So a great stop for Eschen. He was about 0.4 of a second faster in his box, but he is able to get the spot, and he is now going to take over the race lead.
And Gary in the pits on lap number 70 with a 12.4 second stop compared to Bryan Hacker, who was just about a 10th slower in his pit, maybe a little bit extra fuel. Maybe the pit crew dropping a lug nut. But Gary Eschen going to be our third different leader here tonight. And up 10 spots from his starting spot, Kelly.
Yeah, Eschen not great in qualifying, but having a fantastic race as he has got himself in the lead as we come to the Mad Plowing Choose Cone. And Gary Eschen, unsurprisingly, taking that inside line with Bryan Hacker electing to start alongside him. It is going to be, looks like Nichols in third place. Things getting a little bit hectic here, though.
That they are. It looks like the 60 of Odegaard getting sent to the tail as he is down one lap. Wave around, going around. Looks like Jeff Bergner going to get back on the lead lap. And I believe Jan Janin will also get a wave around to become on the lead lap. But how about Gary Eschen up 10 spots from where he started here tonight? Randy Nichols up 12 along with Huntoon. So a lot of movers and groovers here tonight.
Yeah, still a lot of laps left to go here. It'll be just over 50 once we get back to green flag racing. So still a long ways to go. We'll see what these drivers will be able to do in these closing laps, as Gary Eschen will lead the field to green for the first time.
Eschen into the Sandi Paws restart zone. Green flag is up and we are back underway. Eschen with a good clean jump, going to be able to jump in front of the number 2. Here comes Nichols down to the inside. Randy Nichols trying to make a move into that number 2 spot, unable to do so, but here comes Hacker. Hacker dives it down low, hits the hook, will wrap that bottom. Gary Eschen with momentum on the outside. He clears him, but Nichols now on the attack. Randy Nichols trying to work to the inside of the number 2 of Bryan Hacker, and that Cintas 69 little bit loose in the entry. Hacker holds on to it. Huntoon 4th, and now 5th goes to the 38 of Johnson.
Oh, Johnson gets a little too hot in there and actually gets into the 12 of Huntoon, pushes him up the track, but both of those drivers are able to maintain control of the car, and that was impressive wheel work, especially from Huntoon, getting a shot to the left rear right on the entry of the corner, but somehow keeps that thing looking fairly tidy and able to get a good run off the corner. And now Dustin Shepard charging to the outside of Ryan Johnson. Johnson having to fight him for position, as we have got battles all throughout the field, even up towards the front, as the leaders have got themselves into a bit of a fight, as Bryan Hacker puts a lot of pressure on Gary Eschen.
Yeah, Hacker right to the back bumper there, unable to make a move as we watch this battle between the 38 and the 89. A little bit of contact off the corner. Shepard hits the outside wall. Gable with an evasive move as he looks to take that 6th spot away. Shepard bounces right back to the outside. Hoffler in the 1 car works the outside of Scott Austin, and Austin, gotta wonder if that damage to the front of the car hampering him, or a little bit earlier, if these yellow flags have been able to work on it. But Austin, uncharacteristically unable to make it up through the field like we've seen him in times past. He's kind of been right there in that 8th to 6th spot all night long. Maybe saving his stuff here with about 46 laps to go.
Yeah, we saw Heffler get into the wall there, and that allowed Austin to maintain his spot. But here comes Heffler once again, charging along the outside, seeing if he can improve his spot. He's trying to move himself up further in the top 10, as Scott Austin needs to really get a move on here if he wants to continue to challenge for the championship. Bryan Hacker, the championship leader, still runs in 2nd place. He's still trying to find a way around Gary Eschen. He's pretty much right on top of the bumper going into turn 1, but Eschen running a good line there and keeping that 2 car behind him.
And if you're Bryan right now leading the points, obviously you want to win races, you're trophy hunting, but is it important to finish there? We have the upcoming schedule. I believe we are at Lanier next week and in the Nashville Fairgrounds. Obviously a win is huge, But do you start thinking, do you play that game, all right, well, if I don't win, I don't have to start the back of the field? You think well, we know Bryan's not thinking that way.
Now, Bryan is going for the race lead as he actually got into the Gary Eschen a little bit coming off of turn 4, but it wasn't much of a push, just a little bit of a tap, trying to see if he can maybe move Eschen out of line, but Eschen is holding his position and trying to just ignore that 2 car filling his rear view mirror, trying his best to just stay focused on his line and on his race, while Bryan Hacker is being forced to try to find a way around that 23 car.
That they are, and they're working around here, trying to get around, and Hacker a little bit of a shallower line through turns 3 and 4, and it seems to be working for him, but unable to do anything with that momentum into turns 1 and 2. And Gary kind of running that middle lane, not much daylight to the inside or outside as they all work around there.
Yeah, Hacker's going to have to set something up coming off of the corner, because just the way that Eschen is running his line, he's not really giving Hacker any opportunity to make any sort of other move. He can't just dive it in on the inside coming into the corner. There's not much of a gap there, and there's nothing really to the outside either, especially in turns 1 and 2. So he's got to try to just see if he can maybe cross him up coming off one of these corners and diamond it off well and just get his nose in there.
Right now they're working down through 3 and 4, and Bryan, and they have opened it up over Nichols. Nichols was hot to trot on that restart. Now it's kind of just sitting back in that 3rd spot, maybe biding some time here, as we note that these front runners are really pushing each other hard. A little bit deeper back in the pack, Josh Nelms working his way up into the 11th spot on the outside of the top 10, looking for spot, and it looks like Dylan Connor has taken the 90 behind pit wall. Kelly, he will be a retiree here tonight.
Well, our battle for the race lead is heated up. Bryan Hacker has got his nose to the inside. He's now got himself completely alongside Gary Eschen. Coming off of turn 4, though, it's Eschen with the advantage. A little bit of a tap there crossing the line. Eschen will be the leader at the line, but can he last for another 35 laps over Bryan Hacker, as he is now going to get himself clear coming on, and nearly chops off the nose of Bryan Hacker going into turn 3. So this battle for the race lead is not over yet, and there's still a long ways to go for Gary Eschen to hold off Bryan Hacker.
Yeah, Hacker trying to make it something there. He's got to get the door off of his forehead, as it was slammed a few laps ago, as now he falls back into that number 2 spot with car number 2. At this point, the sleeves are getting rolled up right now. The gloves getting ready to come off as we close in on 25 laps to go, and just a few short laps. The 36 rolls back out into the racetrack of Brian Schroyer. Every position matters, so Troy will get back out on the racetrack and look to maybe bypass Dylan Connor's entry, as the battle for that race lead still rages in the turn number 3. Hacker to the back bumper, a little bit better to the corner. Does he give him a love tap off of turn number 4? The answer is no, not that time. Lap 95 of 125, coming to 30 laps to go, as Eschen, your race leader, over Hacker, Nichols, Huntoon, and Johnson, your top 5.
Hacker is right on the bumper of Eschen now, and we cannot take our eyes away from this little battle for the race lead, because at any moment Hacker can make that lunge, make that move. He is so close to Eschen, but he's just not quite getting enough pace here to really get his nose to the alongside Eschen. Each time, though, he's pretty much brushing against that rear bumper.
He is. He's really, really throwing it in there, trying to diamond off the corner, trying to make a move, as we're on board with the J&D Farms onboard camera with Bryan Hacker as he chases your race leader. You can see how crooked that front straightaway wall is, as that speed shot as the field rushes by. I tell you, Kelly, that front straightaway has eaten a lot of my race cars back in my heyday.
Yeah, that straightaway can just reach out and grab you as you come off the corner. And we've seen a couple of drivers get up into it there, but so far these lead two are just keeping themselves right up against it and pretty much putting no space between them and the wall. Oh, Hacker gonna get almost into the rear bumper of Eschen that time, coming off of 4. Hacker looked like he had some pace, but nowhere to go as the 23 car just making himself as wide as possible. I mean, Gary Eschen, that car is not wider than anyone else's, but it seems like it's taking up the full track width.
Yeah, Eschen doing a good job holding off your current high points man, Bryan Hacker, who rides in that second spot. And look at the brake rotors glowing here tonight at New Smyrna. He takes a look to the inside, that time in 3 and 4. Eschen about a quarter of a car length up off the bottom. That allows Hacker to get there, maybe a little bit more contact, that time off of turn number 4. The fans are on their feet as the battle rages with 24 laps to go. Hacker takes a peek to the inside. Eschen looks a little bit there to the inside and able to hold on to a Hacker down low off of turn number 4. Nothing there. Eschen blocks once again.
And someone that is liking what he's seeing in front of him is Randy Nichols. Nichols is wanting those two guys to keep battling and keep getting into each other. He's actually been slowly gaining on them. He's still about half a second back of Bryan Hacker, actually he's about 8/10 back of Bryan Hacker, but it is that gap has been closing a little bit. So he is trying to see if he can maybe get out there and get himself involved in this battle for the race lead, or maybe even just sit back and watch as these two guys get into each other.
Yeah, Nichols watching there as we roll on the roll bar, and you just see those two drivers in front of them. Great camera angles from our Turn 3 Racing Network crew. Make sure you hit that thumbs up if you're out there watching it on the YouTube to let these drivers know you appreciate their efforts and that what they're putting on there. Is Eschen still leads. 20 laps to go here in the Atlantic Shootout. 125. Number 2 of Bryan Hacker working there. Huntoon runs in 4th. Ryan Johnson in 5. Hacker with a peek to the inside. Once again, nothing going as we watch that battle for your race lead.
Yeah, the rest of the field is single filed out at this point. Everyone just kind of cruising along towards the tail end of this race. Hacker actually going below the yellow line there, dipping 2 tires down to the bottom. He is trying everything to figure out where there's a line that he could run that would maybe get him around Gary Eschen, while Eschen has just been focusing on hitting the exact same marks lap after lap, and it has just been giving Hacker no option, as he is trying to see if he can maybe get himself underneath Eschen coming off the corner.
And Eschen's getting a good drive off of turn number 4 right now. Opens up about a quarter car length, but Hacker right back to the back bumper of Gary Eschen.
Hacker right on top of Eschen coming off of turn 4, and it has been just about the same every single lap as Hacker puts the pressure on, but Eschen just ignores him, runs his own race, runs his own line, and Hacker can just not find that line that he needs to run.
Not quite there, but if you look as we're on board with the Sandi Paws Rescue onboard camera, Randy Nichols' car getting bigger and bigger in the rear view mirrors. At some point they are going to have to go. That has now dipped below 0.8 of a second. I think you are right, Kelly. I think the 69 of Nichols might have just been biding some time, saving some tires, letting these two duke it out with 14 laps to go. And Dustin Shepard coming down pit road under green flag conditions. Tough break for the Zoofab Garage, number 89.
Yeah, wondering if there's an issue with Shepard. He actually will slide through his box as well. I don't see any damage on that car, but he is coming down and getting tires now.
Gotta wonder, maybe tires and not enough fuel on that 89 car. So he'll slide all the way back to the 18th. In contact now between your top two and a little bit of a bumper tag. Up the racetrack, Eschen goes. Number 2 of Hacker starting to get impatient with 12 laps to go. Hacker dives to the inside. Contact through turns 1 and 2. Eschen able to hold it on the outside. Hacker gets it back in line. And here comes Nichols. It's a 3-car battle for your race lead here at New Smyrna.
Yeah, Hacker cannot quite get there once again, and Eschen able to defend against that latest attack from Hacker as we get down to our last few laps here. Next time by, they will be getting the double high five from the flagman. 10 laps to go. As once again, Hacker gets right on to Gary Eschen going into turn 3, and Randy Nichols slowly creeping closer. He is now down to just over 0.3 of a second behind Bryan Hacker. So Hacker starting to get a little impatient, starting to feel the pressure of both the decreasing laps and the decreasing gap to that 69 car.
10 laps to go, make it 9. This time off the corner, and Hacker right to the back bumper, trying to use that Camaro's front bumper as a mad plowing snow shovel, trying to move him up the racetrack. He does to turns 1 and 2. Can't do anything with him. Eschen with good momentum in the turn number 3. All this happened to Randy Nichols licking his chops in that Cintas number 69 up off the corner, and the black once again from the Autoland 23. Gary Eschen trying to hold off Bryan Hacker. Hacker trying to go to victory lane here tonight at New Smyrna. He's got 7 more circuits to go. Eschen up the racetrack. This could be what Hacker needs. Contact! Eschen, they both check up. Here comes Nichols.
And this is exactly what Randy Nichols wanted, those two drivers to get into each other and slow each other up. And now he's going to get himself involved as that little slide from Eschen heated up his tires, and that's going to slow him up a little. We're getting here into the last handful of laps. They're coming off of turn 4. Hacker looks to the inside, can't quite get there, has to check up. And now here comes Nichols down into turn 1. We have a 3-way battle for your race lead. What is it going to be over these last 5.5 laps here as Eschen took a little bit of a block to the inside. Now Hacker going to throw himself down to the bottom, turn 3. Going to get down below that yellow line, somehow makes it stick. But Eschen going to have a better run on the high side. Now this is going to open up an opportunity for Nichols. He's going to go to that second lane and get to the outside of Bryan Hacker, side by side off of turn 2. Oh, a little bit of a scrape to the wall for Nichols. Nichols, though, got a nose ahead coming into turn 3. And now this is what Eschen wants, those two to battle it out while he opens up the gap over these last 4 laps.
Bryan Hacker wisely says, all right, 4 laps to go. Randy, go up there and try to get him if you can. Nichols maybe saved enough tire. He looks to charge on Gary Eschen. Eschen, your race leader, Bryan Hacker, dives it in deep underneath Randy Nichols. Nichols up off the corner. Can he get there? 3 to go for Gary Eschen, Randy Nichols, and Bryan Hacker, your top 3. They have checked out on the rest of the field, and Nichols now is there, draws a beat on the 23.
Yeah, Nichols is going to have to get there and make a move soon as these laps tick down. 2 to go for Gary Eschen as he is trying to hold off those 2 hard chargers behind him. Randy Nichols up 13 spots here tonight. He is our biggest mover. He's trying to make it 1 more, though, but he has only got a lap and a half left to make it happen.
Bryan Hacker back to the inside underneath the 69 of Nichols. Maybe slight contact, not enough to upset the car. White flag is out. Final trip around the Speedway. Gary Eschen trying to hold on to it. Randy Nichols is there. Right to the back bumper. Contact between the top 2. Here comes Bryan Hacker in the turn number 3. Nichols tries to cross him off. Turn number 4. Down the front stretch. It's a drag race. Nichols is looked to the inside. 3-way across the line. But Gary Eschen going to pick up the win over Randy Nichols and Bryan Hacker in what was a 3-way finish here tonight. Huntoon in 4th, and Ryan Johnson unofficially rounding out your top 5.
Only a quarter of a second separated our top 3 there as Eschen nearly gets taken by Randy Nichols, but Nichols not quite able to get enough of a drive off of turn 4, and Eschen having to defend for pretty much half of that race and he manages to hold off both Randy Nichols and Bryan Hacker to take the win here at the Atlantic Shootout.
Yeah, Gary Asher going to pick up the win. He does the Polish victory lap as we get ready to head down for our post-race show here tonight, presented by Sim Racer Hub. And we can't do it. That's where all the leagues go to keep it organized. From schedules to rosters to points to stats and standings, Sim Racer Hub makes running a league simple so drivers can focus on racing. If you're looking to track your league the easy way, check out simracerhub.com, the official post-race sponsor of the NSRL. And Kelly, I can't believe what we just saw.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race, and there has been a number of them throughout this whole season here, as we've got multiple finishes that have been a margin of victory under a 1/10 of a second, and that time that was very close, not only just for our first two, but having a third car involved as well.
Yeah, I mean, 3 wide at the line at New Smyrna. If you would have told me that that was going to happen tonight, I would have told you you are a little bit nuts. Just going to say. I mean, you are nuts, but... So we are making our way downstairs to our victory lane presented by simracerhub.com. And Kelly, I believe you have our race winner.
Catching up now with Gary Eschen. And Gary, have you caught your breath yet after that?
Oh man, that was a long 30 laps there from the pressure from Hacker and then Nichols. Yeah, that's quite the race.
Yeah, and what was your kind of strategy for defending here? You looked like you were running a fantastic line that left these other drivers with no option.
I was struggling really bad in 3 and 4 there towards the end, and I had good run through 1 and 2, so it helped enough just to keep me up there. Because yeah, I was struggling bad in 3 and 4. I thought for sure Hacker was going to get me a few times there, but yeah.
Well, you are able to get a second win here on the season, and we've got only 2 races left here on the schedule. Lanier and Nashville, do you think you can maybe get a third win here?
As long as we can finish, I think we have a chance. I've only finished 2 races this year, and it's been 2 wins, so the rest of DNF. So, if we can finish the race, I think we'll have a chance. I'm pretty good at both of those tracks, so hopefully the luck rolls over. It was the birthday luck. Today's the birthday, so it was just that birthday luck I had.
Well, happy birthday to you, and a great way for you to celebrate it. But who helps you get it done here at the NSRL?
I'd like to thank my wife. Got Jim over at Autoland Outlets, Roscoe Glass, Rookies. Let's see, JRS. I know I'm for DCD. Dante Curtis Designs for all the sweet paint jobs every season. And yeah, I think that's... And you guys, obviously, I go back and watch all the races. You guys do a wonderful job broadcasting. And shout out to all the admins for all the hard work they do behind doors to make this league what it is.
All right, well, we'll let you go here, Gary. You can go celebrate your win and your birthday. Congratulations and happy birthday again to you. And hopefully we'll be hearing from you next week at Lanier.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
So Gary Eschen with a fantastic defense to hold off Randy Nichols and Bryan Hacker, and he will take the win here this week. But Al, I think you're going to catch up with the guy that finished just a fraction of a second behind him.
Yeah, Randy Nichols did a whale of a job in looking at this race car. Not too many scratches on it, Randy. And coming up 13 spots here tonight. Yeah, an eventful night, but nothing like it was at the end of this one. How much of a dogfight was that out there between the 3 of you?
I wouldn't say it was too much of a dogfight. I think Gary and Bryan were really the class of the field, considering the fact that they drove off those last two green flag runs. But I mean, yeah, at the very end right there, it was a matter of trying to get the car to turn because you burned the right front off, and then suddenly out of nowhere, like the last 5 laps, it started getting really loose. So it was definitely a battle, but yeah, I mean, I think I just kind of got lucky by saving a little bit right there at the end.
You definitely look like you had a lot more tire than the rest of those guys up in front of you there. Did you just need a few more laps maybe to figure out how to get around that 23 for the victory?
Oh yeah, I mean he was loose. I think he was pushing and just really loose off. Maybe like another 5 laps I probably could have, but yeah, I mean, you know, if you can't do it in 125 laps, you weren't going to do it in 130 laps, or you know, whatever Kelly Yarborough said.
I mean, this racetrack, you know, historically tough to pass. You come up 13 spots there. A good night overall, though, as the series starts to wind down. Hard to believe, just 2 weeks left. Lanier next week. The good news is you don't have to start at the back there. How's Lanier for this Cintas 69 racing team?
It seems like with a lot of these short tracks, I have a love-hate relationship. Sometimes I have a good race, sometimes I have a bad race. So it really just depends. You know, we'll kind of see how things play out.
All right, sir. Well, we congratulate you on your runner-up finish here tonight. Who makes it all possible for you to be here talking to us here on the SimRacerHub.com post-race show?
Definitely, you know, my girlfriend, she's always very supportive of me and, you know, tries to watch every broadcast and is kind of cheering me on throughout the race. You know, obviously my dad watches all the races, and so having support from people that care about you always helps. And then obviously thank you guys for putting on the races every week.
Well, thank you for the kind words. Thank you to your family and friends for tuning in as well, as you had a very close finish right there with Gary Eschen. Thanks for making another highlight reel finish this season for the NSRL, man. We're looking forward to the rest of what you guys have up your sleeves over the next 2 seasons as well. But congratulations here tonight, and hopefully you're in one spot higher next week as we head to Lanier.
Appreciate it, guys.
Randy Nichols going to come home in that runner-up spot, Kelly. And I know this man will be happy to talk to you because we know he doesn't like talking to me.
Yeah, well, we will catch up now with Bryan Hacker. And Bryan, definitely a tough race towards the end there. And what were you seeing from your spot as you were trying to chase down our 2 leaders?
Yeah, I just that battle off pit road ultimately decided it. I feel like I was faster than Gary. I just couldn't get the runs where I needed to get the runs, and I didn't want to wreck them. And I was honestly going to wait until about 5 to go, and my plan was to try to move them up the track a little bit in the right spot so that I had the rest of the lap to try to complete the pass. But we were, I guess, slowing each other down enough to where Randy caught us, and once Randy got to my outside, I knew there wasn't going to be a whole lot I was going to be able to do, so I just let him go in hopes that, you know, maybe he and Gary would trade a little too much paint and I'd be able to slip by him. But at the end of the night, you know, it is what it is. We'll take a third. You know, I guess coming out of here being disappointed with the third is probably a good thing.
Well, even still, that is going to be a good points haul for you to defend your championship lead. What do you think it's going to take to close it out here over the last 2 races?
I mean, it's going to be consistency and just keeping the nose clean and trying to make smart decisions. I've never been good at these pit strategy races, so I've got about between 4 and 5 laps left to spare in fuel, and Gary was telling me that he had less than a lap left. So I guess I need to call it a little bit tighter on pit road to get out that, you know, nose length ahead like he did, and you know, maybe we'll have a shot. But at the end of the day, we're not going to do anything too crazy. Just try to keep the nose clean, try to keep it running in a respectable position, and hopefully we can hold on.
Well, next week we'll be going over to Lanier, and what are you expecting from that little bull ring?
Lanier is another one of my favorite tracks. We kind of finished the season off at 3 of my favorite racetracks, so that's nice. So I love New Smyrna. I feel like we were fast here, just didn't quite get the result we wanted. So hopefully next week at Lanier we can put it all together.
All right, well, thanks for coming out and talking to us, Bryan. But before we let you go, who would you like to thank for your 3rd place run tonight?
Yeah, first and foremost, would like to thank Scott Austin Designs, putting good-looking cars together for he and I every week. Thank everybody else on the car, Boulder Beer Bar, Aberdeen Lodge, Carbon Junction, the league for putting this thing on, you guys for coming out and in doing this, and all the different sponsors between Al Speed Shop and J&D Farms, which is pretty cool. I listened to the broadcast back, and for a guy just to like what we do here and throw a little bit of money at us so that we can continue to do this every season is pretty neat. And Sandi Paws Rescue, I've got 3 dogs of my own, so it's pretty cool to have somebody like that on board and backing us up.
All right, well, once again, congratulations on a 3rd place finish here tonight, Bryan, and hopefully we'll be hearing from you next week in Lanier, where you continue to try to defend your championship.
Let's hope so. Thanks, Kelly.
All right, so Bryan Hacker, as mentioned, a little bit disappointed in getting just 3rd as he felt he had the pace, but I'm sure we'll be hearing from him again next week in Lanier.
I would assume so, and what a great night. Every week that we say, oh, Kelly, they can't beat what they did last week, they do. They up it once again. What a 3-way battle at New Smyrna. I don't know if I have ever seen a 3-way finish across the line like we did here tonight, but that just shows you the amount of talent and amount of respect these drivers have, and just leaning on each other. The level of racing here at the North-South Racing League is through the roof as we take a look at where your favorite drivers finished here tonight in the Atlantic Shootout 125. And next week, Kelly, going to another, Bryan says is one of the 3 of his favorite racetracks. I love Lanier. Hold that place dear and near to my heart. One of a great race track, and we really hope that everybody out there watches here tonight. But I tell you, the points battle going to tighten up a little bit. I believe Hacker going to grow the lead just a little bit over Ryan Johnson and Scott Austin. Just 2 events left, and along with our season finale at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, and that one is a wild card, 200 laps in distance around that place, and that one could really shake things up here at the end of the season.
Yeah, things really could get shaken up over these last couple weeks, but Hacker will increase his points lead just a little bit. So if he can just have 2 fairly decent weeks, not even really wins or top 3s, even if he just gets like top 5s, I'm sure, or even the top half of the field, he'll probably close out the championship. So he does not need to race that aggressively, but knowing Bryan Hacker, he will still be gunning for the race wins.
That he will be, and we will be here to capture every lap of the rest of this season and of the next seasons as well. Kelly, we'll talk a little bit more about what you, the race fans, can expect out of the North-South Racing League, and maybe you want to become part of their league. We can tell you how in the coming weeks. But number one thing you can do, head on over to Facebook and give them a like at the North-South Racing League. Kelly, we saw another fantastic finish. Gary Ashton picking up his 2nd win of the season. Randy Nichols comes home 2nd, and Bryan Hacker 3rd. That'll do it for our post-race show presented by Sim Racer Hub. And as they all alluded to, the North-South Racing League Street Stock Series is presented by Sandi Paws Rescue. Can't do them and thank them enough for being our presenting sponsor of the Street Stocks. RC2 Promotions and RC2 Graphic Solutions. Whether you need something done, make your next event look good, all sorts of things that are graphic related or league related, RC2 Graphic Solutions can make it happen. Wizards Design. I can't wait to see their next design for our champion here at the Sandi Paws Rescue Street Stock Series. We will see that in just a few weeks. Austin Designs can make your next hot rod look good on the racetrack. Zufab Garage. J&G Hardwood Flooring. Mad Plowing. I'd also like to thank J&D Farms along with Al Speed Shop for being sponsors this season. If you'd like to get involved, head on over to the North-South Racing League and ask how you can become part of the show. Kelly, thank you for making the trip down to New Smyrna. We will see you next week in Woodstock, Georgia, at Lanier Raceway. Until then, we hope to see you in Turn 3. Good night, everybody.